Hello everyone, it is I, Ryan, also known as the Lovebat, and so I am here continuing on in my Let's Play of Pathfinder Kingmaker. And so we had a good bit of fun last session. We got a couple of areas taken care of. We are progressing further and further into the Gnarl Marshes here. But I think that we might have to end up making a bit of a jaunt back to Oleg's trading post, so that way we can talk to Jod, the priest, about what was going on over at the Temple of the Elk that we visited in our last session. I think it was right over there. We also visited the Old Oak area as well, and then we start off with the Old Oak, coming on through this area. We went to yonder, went over to the Old Oak, then came on around, went to the Temple of the Elk, explored a bit of the Gnarl Marshes to see if there's anything interesting over here. Kind of took a long way around to get over to Tuskgutter's lair, and we were able to go ahead and complete that for Amiri's little side quest for wanting to go ahead and defeat monsters and things like that as part of a sign of proving her worth, in her own words. But I guess we were able to go ahead and successfully complete several things last time, and so we're looking to go ahead and continue on in our adventures and journeys to go ahead and kind of deal with the stolen lands here and the different forested areas that are covering a lot of the stolen lands. And we might have to go and make our way back, all the way back to Oleg's trading post here, which would be quite a long jaunt. I still have yet to decide if I truly want to go all the way back there just yet, but I might have to progress the story, and it's kind of inevitable that you might have to do that at some point, so I think I'm going to go ahead and make my way back there, but I'm going to maybe take a long way around to explore a bit more of this area to see if there's anything else interesting worth checking out before we make our way back there. So yeah, we're going to go this way. Alright, so we found ruins of an old temple, so that's a resource later that we can go ahead and mark. So now that we know that's there, that's good. We can't go further east from here, so we're going to go north. And I think we're okay getting into another fight with a random encounter. We are pretty full up on hit points, except for Amiri, who got kind of roughed up by Tuskgutter last time, even though she proclaimed victory. It was, I would think, something that was a bit less than victory in our minds, even though she thought differently. I think from now on we're going to try and get them into melee, even though that may not be the most wise thing to do. But we definitely want some damage dealers up there.
And
well,
Lindsay was called forth.
The two of you can stay here in the back. I guess we'll go ahead and do at least Bless, since it's a free casting. We might as well do some of these. We'll have them kind of cover the two flanks here up front. And it looks like we have some bandits, so we'll take care of these guys pretty quick.
What troubles you?
I guess Lindsay and Octavia, I want you guys to continue going forward. The start of combat. Looks like they have an illusionist, so that might be a good chance for Reganar to get in there. Amiri's also going to go over to the left so that we can charge their bandit brawler. Octavia, I think that I want you to go for the illusionist. Maybe go up a bit further. You're going to go after the illusionist. Lindsay, I want you to go and do a song if possible. Alright, now you're going to go and charge in at the brawler. I guess you can't charge him. For some reason, you can't charge the brawler, I think. Okay, then we'll have you charge this other bandit then. And Renganar, you're gonna get on the flanks, then charge the illusionist. Alright, so that's gonna... We're gonna get a lot of mileage out of Inspiring Courage because of the fact that she has the feat that allows it to sustain itself, or sustain itself over several turns. And in the future, I might consider getting some teamwork feats, so that way we can get better flanking bonuses and better AC bonuses, maybe in some cases. So yeah, I think that was probably worth it to go ahead and use a small bit of resources there. In random encounter areas, I don't believe we're going to find any random loot lying around here, so no use in looking. Sometimes the pathfinding gets itself a bit mixed up when you're trying to exit the area there for some reason. One other thing we can do if we go back to Oleg's trading post is eventually we can go ahead and sell off all the loot that we have. And we can definitely carry more loot than we have, but if we're going to progress the story, we can also go back to Old Sycamore here as well. I don't know why it's suggesting we go all the way around to get there, since I think we're going to be able to go here and go north and then maybe go this way. I could go back to Old Sycamore, pick up some of the loot that we left behind over there. And then also we can deal with that one encounter that we passed up on because it is against an enemy that we were nowhere near ready for. What communal scrolls do we have? Alright, so we do have... I did manage to go ahead and buy a scroll of protection from electricity, which will help everybody in the party. And we also have protection from evil as well that we can use. So we definitely have the tools to where if we were to go ahead and fight that Will-O-Wisp again, I think we should be able to win. Even though we're only level 4, that's not necessarily a high level. But with the protection scrolls and the different spells that we have, and we also have someone that can deal acid sneak attack damage, and then you have a magic weapon that should be able to hurt him or hurt it. You don't have a magic weapon, but I think maybe your Magus features can make your weapon magical, I think. I'll have to double check that real quick. Probably isn't really anything that I need to be checking, but I'm just gonna make sure. Okay, so I'm mainly just trying to figure out if arcane accuracy, yeah, I guess I was just trying to figure out if it makes his weapons count as magical, but I'm not seeing anything here that indicates that. I might have to cast a spell to be able to do something like that, so... But I think that we're still built well enough to where we can win that encounter. I'm not sure if I should go north or south. I mean, this indicates that there might be a crossing here at the bridge down here at the south. I'm just going to do a quick save, but if this is a dead end over here, then, you know, I'm not going to fret it too much, but just in case. Alright, let's stop. Okay, so I was incorrect. There doesn't seem to be a crossing over that direction. I mean, there needs to be a crossing somewhere else other than Thorn Ford, right?
I need to catch my breath.
There is. Where do we go to go over there? Well, it says to go all the way around, but we're not going to do that, obviously. We have the Mercy to remove fatigue, so we're not worried about that for this encounter. Let's enter the location and go back and deal with the old arch-nemesis of ours. The arch-nemesis of many, I imagine, who were caught in a trap and weren't able to go ahead and deal with them. So yeah, I'm not going to reload to try and travel differently there. I guess I was able to eventually find a crossing down at the south, and we explored a bit faster that way. And here's all the loot that we left behind last time, so let's pick that up. A lot of it is heavy stuff, but I'm going to collect all anyway.
We should gather our strength.
If we're not fatigued, then we don't have to worry too much about this. At least we can just drop the padded armor, I guess. I think if we get down to about 1200 in weight, then we should be okay. Because we have some high strength characters in the party that can allow us to carry quite a bit. I do wish there were a faster way to do this, like control click or shift click or something like that. We're at least going to drop all the padded armors here. I could use... I think the enlarged person gives you bonuses to strength, so we might be able to carry more loot back if we were to enlarge somebody before leaving the area. Alright, so that's all the padded armor, and then the regular leather armor is 15 pounds for 2 gold pieces. So I think that's probably next on the list to drop. I guess hide armor probably doesn't sell for a better rate, so we'll drop those as well. £6 for 1 gold. Yep, the spear sells for better than the leather armor, so let's drop the leather armors then. Okay, so we're down to roughly around 1200 in weight, so that's about what we're going to be able to carry when we deal with the fatigue. Though I guess she's exhausted, so I'm not going to be able to deal with that. Sadly, if they get exhausted, then you can't deal with that until you're, I think, a way later level in Paladin. So let's make our way up here to where we know the encounter is with this will-o'-wisp. I know that there might have been, I forget if there's any encounters that we've foregone, or that we forewent down in the caverns with any of the undead and skeletons. I don't know if we did forego any. I think eventually we ended up dealing with all of those encounters, I think. She's walking along slowly because she's exhausted. Sadly, her constitution isn't so high, so that's one of the downsides of traveling with Octavia, is that she will get exhausted pretty quickly. Compared to the old party where one of them was undead, one of them was a dwarf that doesn't get exhausted very easily. And even our dear friend Regengar doesn't have the highest constitution either to go ahead and travel at a good pace. Everyone else has a fairly good constitution. Even Lindsay has a better constitution than these two, so That is one disadvantage of this pair, is that their constitution is not up to snuff compared to the other options that you can get.
I will see this through.
I don't know if resting here is going to go ahead and cure the exhaustion or anything like that. Let's go and do a quick save. I don't want to use my scrolls now because I think that the duration is going to run out when we start resting. Yeah. So we didn't want to use the scrolls now. We want to save them for when this encounter begins. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. I might have wanted to equip the scrolls before getting into combat. It was a mistake, but we shall live with it. I think I want to have you do the... I guess she can cast it without needing to make an ability check for it, so... And then we'll do the protection from evil as well. Can you do protection from evil without needing to make a check for it? No, you can't. I think you'd have to be a cleric for that. Alright then, well, we'll just have her do both of those. And let's hope to God that this works. I think we want protection from electricity first. So we're going to do that. We're going to do bless. And then we're going to do glitter dust after we engage with Valerie. You're going to go and buff yourself up with some mage armor. We're going to have you go over this direction. See if you can get around so that we can charge in. And Alyrra, you're going to go and go around here. Then you're going to do glitter dust on this thing. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to try. Yeah, so the party, as you can see, is not doing so hot. Yeah, I think I might have to reload and try again because apparently the party is not doing so well right now with all of that. Yeah, so getting everything set up before combat is going to be a bit of a problem here. Mainly just because combat starts and then they're already doing abilities that we have to worry about. So let's do you, not you. Protection from electricity on you. What's your use magic device? +7, +8. Okay, so I guess Regengar can go ahead and use the protection from evil scroll, I guess, since he has a better chance of making that work. I don't exactly know what the DC is. Does it say what the DC is anywhere? I guess I'm not exactly sure what the DC is, but I'm sure it'll say in the chat if we fail the DC or something like that. Alright, let's do a quick save again. And let's try this again. I know that my Paladin, or Alyrra, isn't likely to fail a save against sphere effects, but everybody else might be susceptible to it. So maybe the first thing that we do is we do this to help out against fear effects. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe remove fear is actually what we want to do. So let's go ahead and cast that right away. And we want to have you do protection from electricity. Amiri, we want you to get over here. You get over there. Let's have you do Smite Evil on these guys. Or that guy. And you can do Mage Armor on yourself. Or do we want to worry about that? I don't know. Well, maybe we can do Mage Armor on Alyrra, actually, since she's more likely to be getting in the thick of it. Yeah, that's the problem here, is that they're gonna be failing saving throws against this stuff. There we go, there's Remove Fear. So we need to get Remove Fear going right away, so that way we can do these other things. We really need that. Alyrra is gonna have to try and hang in there with Valerie. Let's try and have you do Mage Armor on Alyrra. Or maybe I can just do her portrait instead, that might be easier. Amiri, I want you to just continue going around. And then let's have you do that. And let's hope that all this works. There we go. And now we want to do Bless. Still waiting for the communal scroll to go here. There we go.
Ugh, I'm not doing it wrong. The spell is flawed.
Let's see what their defenses are. Alright, so they have lots of AC. They have damage reduction, with the exception of magic. Low strength, super high dex. They're vulnerable to magic missile. Not sure if they have a way to defend against that. I'm assuming that they might, but... I mean, we do have a casting of magic missile. We did use the communal scroll. Let's have you cast the other scroll here real quick. What are you doing? What, another fear effect?
May I suggest another way to use this spell?
What? I mean, I had to remove fear on everybody, and yet we're still failing saving throws on this stuff. Like, what's that all about? Alyrra's immune to it. Well, why is everybody else running? If you only used it on Alyrra, then why are they all running here? Okay, well, whatever. We'll just deal with this as best we can. Let's get some magic missile in there then. And I guess we'll just do heroism on Alyrra to help her hit. Okay, and have you go back. He's running around. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And then I guess might want heroism on her since she's not very good at the wisdom saves here. Yeah, so I guess he has shield to deal with magic missile here, so. Guess we can try Scorching Ray to see if that hits at all. Okay, so can you get in here and start fighting now? That would be great if you're such a powerful warrior. I don't know why you're afraid, but... And she missed. So let's get you in here. We really need you to start getting in there. Why are we failing saves against fear with all these bonuses and stuff that we have going? I guess giving Regangard the scroll for protection from evil is a mistake. Let's see if we can get someone else that scroll. Because he is not being able to use it. Maybe Lindsay's the one that's going to need to use it. Because she's not succumbing to the fear the same way that others are. She's shaken, but she might still be able to use this. So let's do protection from evil so that we get the bonus to saving throws here. Okay. And let's do Bless again because Octavia's running off again. We need you in there. Let's not have you cast Bless then. Let's have you just kind of move around here. Oops. In fact, we might be able to have you get in there with... Well, I guess your crossbow's magical, so I guess we don't need to get you in there with the dagger, I guess. So your crossbow should be able to damage them, potentially. I don't know if we're doing a whole lot of damage to them or not, but hopefully we're doing something. Octavia is running around again. Let's do enlarge person on yourself and see if we can get something going here. Get that going once again, and then we're gonna go ahead and try and get Bless in here again. Very good.
Serves you right.
So we're gonna have to kind of hope for critical hits here to try and hit them. Let's go ahead and enlarge Amiri as well. I don't know why why she's taking so long to cast the spell, but there it is.
Take that!
So yeah, it's kind of hard to know exactly the best way to try and damage them here. We don't really need much in the way of defensive magic. Let's do arcane weapon enhancement, and then I guess we want to grow claws out here as well. Since it's an offensive feature, let's go ahead and put it over here. Arcane accuracy is something I can do as well. So I guess arcane accuracy is only like a very temporary bonus, but we'll go ahead and see if we can get this in here as well. Let's spend the point from the arcane pool, get the arcane weapon enhancement going, and then let's see if we can get this going as well. So now let's see if we can try and hit him. We're trying to get in there. I don't think that Shocking Grasp is going to do anything because this guy is an electricity machine. Let's see, yeah, you're fatigued because your rage ended. Can you hit with this to do some damage on him? Let's see. Apparently it missed. Even with a good roll, she still missed. Very difficult to hit him. Very difficult. How long does the communal scroll last? We have 7 more minutes to try and kill him in this time, so I'm hoping that by then we'll have taken him out already. But this is just an example of why you can't really fight him at lower levels unless you know how to prepare for it, because it's just impossible otherwise. You don't really have the magic to deal with him, even if you have a spellcasting main character. Magical weapons are a bit limited at early levels to be able to damage him. We have a couple people with magical weapons. Alyrra has one, Miri has one. Valerie doesn't have one yet. She just has her Masterwork one. I think Octavia should be able to damage them too with sneak attack and the acid damage if she hits. We're kind of relying on critical hits to be able to try and hit them and do some damage here. I guess somehow they did 1 damage to Alyrra there. At least that's what it looks like. At least his fear effects are gone away, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. There we go, 35 damage. And that killed him. Okay, well, Miri, I was kind of dogging on you before, but if you manage to get a critical hit, you can still do some pretty sizable amounts of damage here. 35 damage with regular damage. If it was a critical hit confirmed, then that would have done way more, but if she does connect, she can do a lot of damage. The problem is that against most enemies, she'll go down pretty easily, so... And what does he have on him for us? A diamond. Well, that's a nice piece of loot to get from him. Obviously, you're not going to be able to spend the night here again or anything like that, but I mean, we get free nights of rest. We're already kind of fatigued and exhausted and everything anyway, so that kind of works out. We did have to use a couple of scrolls to go ahead and deal with that fight, but all in all, I'd say I'd still count that as a victory, even though we were kind of running around for a while trying to figure out what to do. But thankfully, Alyrra stood strong. She did not succumb to any fear effects, and she was not letting the magic of this dastardly evil will-o'-wisp, Viscount Smoulderburn. Okay, now let's see what we got as far as weight. We can go all the way up to 1475 as far as weight. And we can enlarge to go ahead and give ourselves a temporary boost to strength. This is a bit gamey, but I do just want to kind of illustrate. Let's see, do we have any castings left of it? Yes, we have two. Okay. I just want to kind of illustrate what you can do to kind of make it easier to carry more loot all the way back to the trading post. And give them some extra strength here and allow yourselves to carry more on your way out of the area. And you pause the game here. Let's collect all and then we'll offload what we need to. So we gave ourselves 100 extra carry weight by being able to go ahead and do this. Oh, nope, I don't want to drop that. Definitely don't want to drop any of the important stuff. Stretching out my arms a little bit there while I'm doing this. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and hightail it back to Oleg's trading post now. I showed you guys that encounter. We dealt with Viscount Smoulderburn. I think that's how you pronounce his name. An evil will-o'-wisp that feeds off of fear of others. You know, it's kind of like the old stuff that your older siblings might have told you, like, oh, that bug, it senses fear. You don't want to be afraid around it, otherwise they'll come after you. I remember that's something that my older brother told me about wasps, and like, they sense fear, so they'll go after you if you're afraid of them. Yeah, I mean, obviously that was full of, that was bullshit, obviously, what they told me back then, but those are just the kinds of stories that people might say about will-o'-wisps or like urban legends and fantasy worlds and things like that. They'll tell you about the, I guess, sort of stuff that you have to go ahead and deal with in fantasy worlds. You know, the urban legends that they'll try and use to frighten you and things like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a quick save here, and then we're going to go ahead and leave the map. Yep, we're just going to leave. We already have as much as we can carry. Now, padded armor obviously doesn't sell for enough to really be worth our while to take back with us, but since we're here, we might as well make the attempt to get it all the way back to the trading post and get a little bit of extra money for it. Especially after I spent money to go ahead and respec my character a little bit. I might as well do this. Alright, now let's do the quick save here. And let's go and explore around this direction. Since I'm over here, it's another case of might as well, since we're here.
A rest.
Couple of places I can consider going later. No, we're not going to rest yet, because otherwise we have to drop quite a bit of loot that we have. So if we can get up to Oleg's trading post, and I guess these areas over here I can visit later. I can come back around here, and go up around and go back to the Gnarl Marshes later. So what I'm hoping for, we're going to try to avoid them. Yep, we're going to evade the enemies here. Because then we're going to have to drop quite a bit of loot at the random encounter location. And I don't want to have to do that. And we're exhausted as well, so we're not really fit for fighting right now. No, I'm not going to do that yet. Once I get to the trading post, then we're going to rest. Yep, let's go here. It's kind of weird that you're not stopped dead in your tracks if you're over your carry weight while traveling, but if you go into a random encounter location, then you are forced to drop your loot and stuff that's over your carry limit. Looks like Octavia is wanting to talk with us. With a delighted smile, Octavia inhales the smell coming from the Oleg's trading post. Fresh bread! I can't believe it. All this time that we sat in cages and crawled in the mud, there were places in the world where they were baking fresh bread. And here we are. I bet they have clean sheets. And maybe we can even take a bath? Ha 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 ha! A girl can dream. You can be a bit of a Debbie Downer and be like, to be honest, the food here is not very good. Oleg, your wife, your cooking is not very good. I just want you to know. Don't relax just yet. There's not much to do. Get some rest. You deserve it. We're very exhausted and we need a bit of rest, so you deserve it, my girl. You can be sure of that. I've got years of rest to catch up on. And I'll be stuffing my face until I turn into a ball. Yep, she's probably very hungry after dealing with slavery, so yeah. That's understandable, so. You do so much for us. Is it all because you are kind? Or maybe? The half-elf smiles flirtatiously. Maybe it's because you've been charmed by my beauty? The first one is kind of humorous, actually. Exactly. I would have never found the Technic League's encampment if your beauty hadn't beaconed me so. This is obviously something that's it's meant to go ahead and direct you into a romantic interest path. I mean, not that I'm totally against it, but I don't think that Octavia is Alyrra's type. Maybe someone else in the party might like her. I mean, we're friends. We're friends, Octavia smiles warmly. Yes. Thank you. All right, enough talk. Fresh bread and clean sheets await. So I guess we're passing up on the option to romance Octavia. Honestly, that just feels fitting for Alyrra. I think that if there's a gentleman that comes along that woos her, then that might always be a possibility, but for this particular character, maybe if I was playing a male character, they might be interested in Octavia and her beauty and all that. But Alyrra just wants to wait for the right person to come along, if that thing happens, so. What do we have here? So I guess this isn't voice acted, so I'm going to voice it out for everybody. Greetings. The nymph's tender voice comes to you softly. The scent of flowers and evening dew is dizzying. In this dark hour, I had not even dreamed of encountering someone in these lands who could stand against the one who blights me. But you appeared, and you brought hope along with you. With the strength of the fog fading, I am able to show you the way to the Stag Lord's fortress. Please, go there. Slay our enemy before he can strike another blow. Will you help me in battle, dear guardian of the bloom? I cannot. The nymph lowers her head. My power is barely enough to make a slight tear through the veil of the fog. Keeping the way open to you is all I can do to help. What happens after I defeat the Stag Lord? Will I ever see you again? The nymph casts her eyes down for a moment. And you would? And you would like to see me again? Then yes, of course. I'll come to you once the tormentor is gone for good. I really hope to have a chance to show you the true beauty of these lands, the meadows, the flowers. Well, you can count on me. I will deal with the Stag Lord and his minions. No one will ever harm you or this forest ever again. Your words resonate inside my soul. Now I can see that I chose the right person worthy to hear my pleas. The nymph leans forward and places something in your hand. Should you lose, my heart will stop with yours. But should you win, the sun shall rise once more over these lands. In its rays, in the ring dance of blooming life, we shall meet again. I leave you a small gift, a token of hope, and the reward that awaits you after all these hardships. Farewell. No. Take care. Hey, that's my line. I like to say that before the end of all my episodes. I guess people have already caught on to that at this point, but no, obviously that's just sarcasm, but I don't mind that she's saying that, obviously, but yeah, I guess I'm not the only one that says that. And you too, take care, Guardian of the Bloom. We thank you for your gift. So now we have the location open for the Stag Lord's Fortress, which is kind of the end of this sort of first... I mean, I guess the first story arc was somewhat dealing with the big tree that we were at and dealing with Tartusio, but this is sort of like the very first sort of actual, story arc, the first chapter. The end of the first chapter is sort of we have to go and defeat the Stag Lord and claim actual true rulership over the Stolen Lands, and begin the kingdom. So I'm going to go ahead and sell... I'll go ahead and... I guess we got to go and talk to Oleg about Tuskgutter, I think. A fine day to you. What brings you by? Well, obviously we have lots of things, but Tuskgutter is dead. You could mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Well, I'm not sure if we want to say that necessarily, but we dealt with Tuskgutter the monster, and his head is your trophy, I suppose. Oleg looks at the blood-stained boar's head with respect, touching its tusk with his finger to test how sharp it is. That's one heck of a beast! I'd love to have a trophy like that, but a deal is a deal. The head goes to the old Benson, and his bounty goes to you. Wow, we got 180 experience, 400 gold coins, and a masterwork longbow. Alright. That's certainly some good moolah there. Thank you. So we've dealt with Tuskgutter. I guess we've already done all we can for him. We can start talking to some more companions as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that just yet.
How may I serve you?
I found the Temple of the Elk and killed the beasts there that were causing that nasty fog.
Erastil be praised, you finally returned, my good friend. Christian told me how you helped him at the Temple of the Elk. Thank you for heeding my request. My heart is calm and filled with confidence that I've followed the will of my God. I would like to reward your bravery. I possess no treasure, but please take this as a token of appreciation.
Do you understand the true meaning of your visions now?
I trust in their truth. These visions They were the voice of Erastil himself, quiet but clear. Before all this happened, I believed Erastil had turned his back to me. But now I see clearly. He has shown me divine mercy, for he has led me to you and invited me to aid in a fellow priest's deliverance. Lady Sarenrae and Erastil walk the paths of the gods hand in hand, and so must their servants as well.
Interesting. He trusts in the visions. I have to go ahead and I'm trying to find the right sort of sound volume here. For things like the voice volume and things like that. So I'll keep adjusting it until I find something that seems perfect, but
Tristan is undoubtedly still very young, and youth is a time of naivete and confusion. But I see kindness and strength of spirit in him, traits indispensable to a priest. I sense that all that's transpired thus far is only the beginning, and the future promises great things for Tristan and for you. This is why Erastil led me to the Temple of the Elk. Day and night I pray for you and for my young friend. May the stag god lead you down the true path.
Alrighty then.
As you wish.
With a hint of grumpiness? Why? We've done so much to help him at this point. I don't know why he'd be grumpy. Thank you for the story. Farewell. So let's go ahead and adjust the options ever so slightly, just so that way we can try having the voice volume be a bit louder here. Maybe lower that ever so slightly. Lower these ever so slightly. Trying to find the right balance for the voice volume here for the conversations. I'm not sure how well people can hear it as far as conversations wise goes, but I don't know if master volume is the only way to turn down the sound effects of weapons, like with Amiri smacking the target over there, but alright, now we gotta go ahead and offload a bunch of this stuff to Oleg here. Show me your wares, my good man. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and offload some of the stuff here, and I'll be right back once I've dealt with all the stuff in our inventory here. Okay, so we're able to go ahead and sell off all of our stuff, as you can see down here. And we were able to get about 2,400 gold or so from selling all the stuff that we did. And then I also forgot that there's a book that I had found over in the Technic League encampment that I hadn't read yet. But I'm going to go ahead and read it now to see what it says. Nwand Quant peeped through a slit in the window shutter. The visitor was staggering at the porch. Nwand had promised himself many centuries ago that he'd never have to deal with halflings again after the case of the Clockwork Head. Even the bleaching is better than some adventures. However, there was something disturbing in the visitor's appearance. Something was wrong. What do you say, Kexi? His assistant sat at the next window with yarn and knitting needles in her hands. Look at his clothes. They're second-hand. He's a hobo. He is. But you're not quite right. Look at his feet. Kexi looked, trying to make out at least something in faint light of the lantern above the door. Are those... He was shackled? Rather than answering, the gnome stepped toward the door. We shall need a doctor. As if to prove his words, the guest faltered and collapsed onto the knees and fell headfirst onto the doorstep. So yeah, I guess that's interesting, I guess. I'm not sure if it's Shadows of Absalom by Pax Grumetra. I don't know if it's like a fictional story or some kind of biography of someone's experiences in slavery or something like that in relation to the Technic League, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Pax Grumetra was someone who was enslaved by the Technic League. And these are like some of his notes or something. Or some of their notes, I guess. Yeah, so I'm not sure if we need to keep this book around. We can sell it for 17. We can sell it for 17 gold, so I'll go ahead and just do that because I don't know if it's really necessary, but it's interesting nonetheless of read. So, but I figured I'd go ahead and read Shadows of Absalom. I know Absalom sounds familiar. I forget exactly what it is, but it is something I've heard in this game before. We'll keep numerous notes around because they're not taking up any weight in our inventory. And maybe we might want to go ahead and show this to the Stag Lord when we encounter him at some point. Now that our inventory is cleared up, we can go over and there's Keston again. We don't have anything to talk to him about right now. I'm sure that once we deal with the Stag Lord, Nori will tell us more. Do you have anything to tell us? No. I doubt that Lindsay does either. Nope. So there's Octavia and Regagar. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. I could just say Reganar, and that might be easier to pronounce, but I don't know if that's out. I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it, but that might be the best way to try and pronounce it for ease of use. Now let's put the coins in there, since those are going to be for somebody important, I imagine. Let's put all the cooking ingredients in here as well. Lots and lots of cooking. Let's put these things in there. Let's go ahead and put this in there as well. And then let's go ahead and put some potions of mage armor in there, since I think that Alyrra is the most likely to want to use a potion of that. Because now we have people that can cast mage armor, so we don't really need... I guess we don't really need the potions as much anymore, since we have 2 party members that can cast the spell. So let's clear some weight. Reduce person. I guess Octavia can cast this now, so we don't need those. Don't think we'll need those either, since we can cast those. We'll keep these around in case we need them. I doubt that we're going to need them, but... I don't know, maybe I can just go ahead and sell these at this point, because I have someone that can cast Acid Splash now, but... reduce on the weight as much as we can. Shield of Faith could be useful. I guess Vanish, we'll just sell that off as well. And this is what the nymph gave us when we entered here. She gave us a necklace that gives us a dodge bonus to AC against ranged attacks. So I think that that's going to go very well with stacking with all the other AC bonuses. So I think that Alyrra is going to be able to use that quite nicely to deal with getting attacked by all kinds of people. Don't know if we're going to need the Scroll of Bless or not, because we already have someone that can cast that through a ring. Then we have a Scroll of Bane, which is going off the screen apparently for some reason. Let's go ahead and put the chain shirt and the breastplate back in case there's someone that can equip that. The Dueling Sword, that's something I think that I want to have Alyrra using at some point, so that's why I have that stashed away. Are there any spells that we can have Octavia learn? Let's get some of these out. I guess Enlarge Person we can sell, Reduce Person we can sell. I guess enlarge person and reduce person, we can maybe just sell these potions if we want to, but there might come a time when they're not in our party though. So I guess we'll keep the potions in case we need them. I don't know if we will, but just in case we need them, we'll keep those around. Just that right now we don't need them, but later maybe we might need them if they're not in our party anymore. Potions of Vanish, I mean, caster level 1 for only 1 round. I don't know if we're going to ever use that, so let's just get rid of them. That's Abjuration, so Octavia can't learn that. She already knows Magic Missile and stuff. Octavia already knows Vanish, I think. Maybe we'll just have Octavia learn Shocking Grasp. Might as well. And I guess a Wand of Magic Missile is going to be useful now that we have someone that can reliably use it, I think, with Octavia. And then, yeah, those are the written orders that we had. Let's go ahead and put that in our inventory in case we encounter the Stag Lord. So we have the notes, the orders that we had about the hut. So I don't know if it's going to make any difference. Maybe we'll also take the Stag Lord's wine since it doesn't weigh very much. Maybe it might be interesting to have around when we encounter him. I guess we'll just go ahead and sell the Scroll of Vanish. I guess we're not going to use the scroll on anyone else, I think, so... And if she already has the spell, then, you know, might as well. Brave Enfeeblements, I guess I'm not likely to go ahead and use that. Octavia already has Scorching Ray, so we might be able to sell this. I'll keep Shield around because it's a pretty useful spell, so... Yeah, +4 shield bonus to AC, that's not too bad. If I get one point of use magic item on Alyrra, then shield scrolls could be useful for her later on. And we'll keep these spells around in case I ever want to... Well, I guess we don't really need the Mage Armor scroll because we have plenty of potions of Mage Armor, so let's get rid of the scroll for that then. This is Necromancy, so Octavia can't use it, but I don't think that anyone else can really use this effectively, so we'll sell that as well. We'll keep Magic Missile and these Protection Scrolls around. I guess I might as well just take that along and take the Communal Protection Scrolls in case we need them. And reorganize the stash while we're at it. So let's see, can we give new armor to anybody? Let's go ahead and give you a chain shirt +1. You're already using a breastplate. And I guess you're using the bracers. You have leather armor +1. Let's go ahead and give you... Yeah, I guess we're not going to really need the Amulet of Mighty Fists on you since you're not really using unarmed strikes anyway. So let's give you the Nymph's Gift. And give you a bonus against ranged attacks. I guess the Amulet of Mighty Fists might do okay on Reganar or Regangar because he can grow claws as a feature, as a class feature. Maybe he might use it. I don't know if it's going to help because I don't know if he can do that with his offhand or not. while using his scimitar, but we'll see if it works out. And then I guess the tower shield, I think, was mainly for Harim, if he doesn't have one already. So let's go ahead and take care of these last bits of equipment that that I don't think that I'll need. I guess I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna need the breastplate. Plus, there's magic breastplate that we can find later on. Don't think I'm gonna need these, so I'm just gonna sell them. Keep the healing potions. Let's sell the vanish potions. Bane, I don't think that I'm going to need this. Bless, I can cast through a scroll, or not a scroll, but through the ring that that Lindsay has. Bone Shaker, not going to be able to use that very well. And then we're going to use that. You don't need the enlarge and reduce scrolls. Don't need that. I'll keep that around. I'll keep that. Mage armor I don't need. I might sell Vanish. I think the Octavia already has it though, as it indicates. Let's do that deal then. And then Octavia spellbook. You already have Vanish, I believe. Yes, you do. Okay. So let's go ahead and sell the Scroll of Vanish as well then. And then let's go over to Octavia and see about learning a couple of spells here. I guess you can't learn freedom of movement. Interesting. I thought you could. Or maybe she's not high enough level to put in her spellbook yet. I don't know. Oh, it's Abjuration. Well, even if it's Abjuration, though, it did allow me to go ahead and add it to her spellbook for an Abjuration, so I just can't have her cast it for whatever reason. Do you already have Shocking Grasp? You do not. Okay. At least evocation spells aren't in an opposition school for her, so... Alright, so if it already has it in her spellbook, then it's not going to allow you to try and scribe it again, so that's good to know. Yep, same with Magic Missile. Okay. And I guess we'll pop on a healing potion on you, in case you need it, and same for you. And then the Wand of Magic Missile we'll go ahead and put on you as well. And I guess since you're the only one that's likely to use Scorching Ray, we'll just give you that, in case you need it. And then we'll top it off with Magic Missile here. It's weird that you can't, not you. Okay, so you can use Lesser Restoration Scrolls then, that's good. So let's have you equip one of those, and I guess, why not? Let's have you equip that one too. So she can reliably use those scrolls. Lindsay can with an ability check. And so can Regagar. Except he's more likely to fail. He's much more likely to fail saving throws. Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom not so high. So his saving throws are kind of middling compared to Alyrra, of course, and even compared to Valerie, who is very good at some saving throws. Unfortunately, will saving throws are not really her forte. Because she gets armor training and the tower shield type training and things like that. But a normal fighter would end up getting a bonus to their will saves against fear effects, so Valerie isn't gaining that benefit, but her charisma is much higher than her wisdom, so she doesn't have certain good saving throws, so... Alrighty then, well I think that's about does it for that. And I think I want to go ahead and check to see what Harim has equipped, so that way if I want to get him equipped with a tower shield or not, then I can do that. Let's leave, and then let's go ahead and dump a Miri for Harim here. And I'm just doing this just so that way I can go ahead and... because unfortunately, this is the only way to go ahead and check the equipment of your other NPC companions. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can give him this tower shield. And if he doesn't already have one, because I kind of forget if I have him equipped with one or not. Alright, so he's already equipped with a tower shield then. Okay. Which means that since I don't think anyone else in our party is going to be able to use one, because Reganar is not going to want to use shield at all, so that means we're going to go ahead and just sell the tower shield. Yep. Will-o-wisps are well protected against magic attacks. However, you can hit them with magic missile. Well, it depends on if they have like the shield spell to be able to cast against your magic missile, like what happened in our fight. So you'd have to bait them out with something else to, or wait patiently before using magic missile. So let's sell the tower shield, since the two people that would use one already have one equipped. Get our small money's worth. We almost have enough money to be able to buy another stat boosting item from Oleg down here somewhere. Where are they? Yeah, so we have almost enough to be able to buy another stat boosting item. We could sell a couple more things like potions to be able to get the money that we need, but I don't think that we're going to need any of them just yet. It would definitely be helpful, especially for the wisdom one. Just to increase like the perception and nature checks of Amiri or someone like that, but so now it's the time to maybe go ahead and talk to some of our NPC companions a little bit, now that we've gotten to a stopping sort of, not really stopping point, we've gotten to a fork in the road where before we go to fight the Stag Lord, let's talk to our NPCs a bit and see what they're up to. Jaethel greets you with a nod. Speak. Well, that's very blunt of you, Jaethel. I would like to hear your story. Even though I'm a paladin, I'm very curious about your story all the same. Stories, Jaethel shrugs. Stories are boring and a waste of time. I have killed. I was exiled from Kyonin. I died. I was raised by Urgothoa's gift. That is my story. The homeland of the elven race on Golarion. Interesting. So, I guess thinking that over just a short bit and adjusting myself in my couch, she doesn't really like telling much about herself, I guess, and she's done a lot of killing. She was exiled, and she was raised by Urgothoa's gift. A Lady of Despair, or Lady Despair. I guess that's like a deity. Yep. So Urgathoa, yep, so probably not someone I'm going to get along with, and probably someone I don't really want to have come along with me in my journeys, but someone that can learn about what makes evil folk tick. Who were you before your exile? It's rather amusing. I belonged to a wealthy family and held high position on the courts of Alyrra, the capital of Kyonin. When my little wrongdoings were revealed, the trial was held in the very same court where I tried cases and delivered sentences over several hundred years. An awkward situation, don't you think? Well, quite awkward indeed, but I'm kind of uncertain on why you were committing all these wrongdoings in the first place, though. Who did you kill and why? Speak of the devil. Family. 4. Jathel's voice is calm and ordinary, as if she's speaking of something trivial. But why is the more interesting question. What is the worth of 1,000 years if you cannot enjoy it like your first 10 dozen springs? The elf's voice sounds unusually vehement. Everyone considers elves ever young, but our youthfulness is but a mask, a threadbare ritual gown. What lies underneath? The dust of years and jaded repetition. With each year, the dust grows thicker, and erstwhile joys cease to excite and cloy as a dish you've tasted 1,000 times. Long did I search for a way to avert this fate. Don't I, who has truly tasted life, deserve a better lot than those benumbed old elves who close themselves to the world? And I found a way in the ancient texts of Urgathoa, a ritual involving the blood of my kin, a trifle that would make each day feel as a holiday, created specially for me. The ritual gave strength not only to my body, but to my mind and my soul, and my mind whirled at every sensation, each sip of wine or silken caress. Oh, how I miss this. My cousin was the first I used for the ritual. It was a simple matter to pass her death as an unfortunate accident, but the enchantment would not last. I had to find another, and again conceal my trade. With the third death, my family grew suspicious, and upon the fourth, my deeds were finally revealed. Such a pity. If not for this, my unlife even now would overflow with burning pleasure, for I have dozens of useless relatives. Well, you can obviously react in many different ways. The evil ones are kind of amusing. In the end, we all live for ourselves. An objective worth pursuing, but it'd be better to refrain from secret murder. So yeah, lawful evil is sort of like the Game of Thrones kind of approach. If you're going to go ahead and kill someone, you might as well do it the most secretive. Or if you're going to go ahead and kill someone or do dastardly things, you might as well do it in the most roundabout way possible, to where it would be very difficult to trace it back to you, so to speak, and get away with it. And so you have two kind of good options here. I think the neutral good one kind of fits her more than the lawful good option, even though we are a paladin. I think both of them are fitting, but this one I think fits more. Did you kill innocent elves for entertainment and pleasure? That's abominable. Yes, I have. Jathel shrugs. Use whatever high-sounding words you wish to describe my deeds. Say abominable if it suits you. Reasonable and honest would fit just as well. Well, I could probably go and kick your ass in one-on-one combat, but that's not what we're going to do today, so... If you really want to talk like that. We'll send you back to undeath if we need to, so... Do you have family in Kyonin? Anyone who is dear to you? Even though you've killed members of your family, as you just said, but is there anyone that you do care about? Do you mean someone I would hesitate to sacrifice? Perhaps my daughter. I would regret the wasted effort. The creature turned out quite well, like a properly trained dog or a well-managed horse. For someone that would hesitate to sacrifice their daughter, they don't really hold a high opinion of their own daughter. Talking about them like they're just any old creature or some kind of cattle or something like that. You know, it's just... As you can see, not someone that I or Alyrra would get along well with, and probably not many people would get along with her anyway, so... But we're learning about evil people here. Is exile your only punishment for murder? For an elf, Jaethel says pointedly, exile is a serious punishment. There is no other Kyonin in this world. Even I, who despises its hypocrisy, must admit as much. How did you die, and what happened after that? I don't remember my death. I was stunned by the sentence of exile, and I admit, I showed weakness. I wandered aimless, absorbed in despair, without concern for my safety or sustenance. And then, I remember desolate rocks, a stone I lay upon, a convulsion, passing not only through my whole body, but through my soul. Then, I awakened. Cold, calm, my body overwhelmed with strength, but haunted by a strange internal silence. There were bloody prints of bone feet on the stone next to me. The sign of the goddess. A battle scythe lay nearby. That was the first and last time I heard Urgathoa's voice. She spoke but 3 words. Hail the Inquisitor. That is all. She has neither addressed me nor answered my pleas ever since. I will not bother you with the story of how I tried to comprehend my new condition. Soon I had a chance to put my new powers to the test. A group of my kin had tracked me through the woods. They were insolent, and would pay dearly for this, but I had to reckon how I might free myself from their persistent chase. A powerful protector from among the short-lived could help me, and the Sword Lords seemed suitable. That is all. So I guess her kin had tracked her after her death and her sort of, I don't know, reincarnation, whatever you want to call it. And so because of her crimes, and maybe people learned of her whereabouts, that were pretty angry about her murdering elves and members of her family. And so she sought protection from another entity that may not care so much about her past. So, and maybe that's why she follows us now, even though we are not ideal for her, obviously. And she said as such, or said as much in the opening tutorial area. After we completed that, she would rather have gone with Tartusio and his ideals until she was backstabbed by him, not surprisingly. I guess maybe backstabbed isn't the word for it, but led astray, and kind of, how should we put it, she was serving his ends instead of serving the ends of the stolen lands and what we were supposed to be doing, so... tell me about your birthplace. Oh, excuse me. Alright, now that the gas is over and done with, I hope you do not ask from idle curiosity. Kyonin is the birthplace of the elves. The other races are allowed to visit within reasonable limits. Usually, only as far as Greengold. That is the enclave for half-breeds and the short-lived, a whim of our king. I enjoyed going there sometimes, as to a wild beast show. Beyond this caricature of a city, Kyonin is a mixture of grandeur and the sad remains of ancient glory. Alright, so Greengold, I guess, is the second largest city of Kyonin, where the elves are kind of, that's kind of where their society is. Next to today's graceful dwellings lie the ruins of ancient monuments and fountains. Elves prefer to live in small groups, in secluded settlements. The most outgoing and ambitious live in the capital, Alyrra. Daily life is filled with the efforts of 100-year-old infants seeking worthy goals, and the 1,000-year-old stony cynics entertaining themselves howsoever they can. That is all. It's scarcely worth mentioning that even this gloom is far more tempting than anything one finds in the lands of the short-lived. Oh, enough talking about your past, then. What's it like to be undead? Do you wish to know what it means to me personally? Or what powers and limitations it imposes? Do you regret not being alive anymore? A shadow passes over Jathel's face. You surely know how to ask questions. She says nothing for a long time. ... waiting a while. Two desires led me through life. To feel pleasure time and time again, and to achieve perfection. Unlife brought me closer to the second. I am changeless, torn from time. The chaos of the world, and even the soul circle, have no power over me. But everything comes with a price. Most things that brought me pleasure in life are meaningless to me now. How can I decide which is better? Well, it's obvious which choice we're going to bring here, but there are some interesting choices here. I guess if you're just a fan of the sort of the mortality of the flesh or whatever, then chaotic neutral might be kind of what you go for here. A bright life full of pleasures is better than unlife, though eternal. You know, it's about quality over quantity of the days, I guess you could say, for that one. And then this one here is you become powerful. That's all that matters. It's much better than the life of ordinary mortals and even elves. But we're obviously going to be going with the neutral good option here. There's no purpose in living only for yourself. It makes life and unlife equally senseless, don't you think? Agreed. Jathel yawns pointedly. I guess maybe she doesn't really care about what I said, but she can maybe see the wisdom in that line of thinking, I guess. How do healing spells, prayers, and potions affect you? Dreadfully, of course. Your healers had better stay away from me in battle. The undead are healed through interaction with negative energy, and I can perfectly manage that on my own. I'd say in combat you're likely to not last very long by yourself, so just like with Amiri, you kind of need others to help you in this kind of world, I would say. You don't need to sleep, right? I am spared from that bothersome need, but I hope you do not take this as a reason to invent additional responsibilities to entertain me during the night. I spend this time meditating and addressing the goddess. Well, even though the goddess hasn't really answered your pleas or prayers and meditation, you know. But you're allowed to do whatever you want in your spare time. I shall not interrupt you. What about, carnal pleasures of the flesh, you know? Wink wink, nudge nudge. A tactless and factual question. That pleasure is now as senseless to me as food or wine. Action without feeling. Well, I would kind of, you know, wonder about, maybe you just don't realize what you're missing, but, you know, that's just me. Eternity and undeath without certain ways to enjoy undeath or enjoy life or whatever, you know. Enjoy your existence, I guess, is maybe the more proper way of putting it. Without ways to enjoy your existence, then what is your purpose? Like, why, you know, what makes you tick so much when you're living eternity with no enjoyment or no purpose, you know? Thank you. I have no more questions about this. Apparently not. Okay. Tell me about your goddess, then, that is so evil and seems to be full of despair. It might sound strange, but I know less than others about Urgathoa and her faith. My transformation into her Inquisitor was unexpected, but I will answer to the best of my knowledge. What do you know of Urgathoa herself? Oh, certainly. Urgathoa was once a mortal woman, basking in life and all the pleasures it had to offer. Her passion was so strong that Urgathoa rebelled against Pharasma, against death itself and its laws. After her own death, she escaped the power of the Lady of Graves and returned to the world as a goddess, and the first undead. Since then, she has protected all who submit their souls to pleasure and passion, paying no heed to worn-out morals and the dictates of law. I mean, it's interesting that she would talk about carnal pleasures of the flesh being action without meaning, and that does not mean anything to her anymore, even though worshippers of Urgathoa are protected and they submit their souls to pleasure and passion. Like, wouldn't you think that something like that kind of sensation or that kind of, you know, those kinds of actions would, you know, maybe have some kind of meaning, whether physically or mentally, of course. Like, there's also the mental side to certain kinds of pleasures of the world. Sometimes people don't do it for the physical way that it helps bring you enjoyment, but for the mental. So maybe that's just kind of, if we're getting into a philosophical kind of talk here, that's just kind of, you know, my take on things like this. It's like, you seem kind of hypocritical. That's what I would say about Jaethal, considering what her goddess seems to lean towards. What does it mean to be an Inquisitor of Urgathoa? This question is more complicated than it seems. An Inquisitor is by nature the most zealous defender of their faith. The hand of their goddess is in mundane affairs. The hand of their goddess in mundane affairs. When I received this title and power, I expected that Urgathoa would tell me my mission, but this never happened. The goddess remains silent. There's only one reasonable explanation I can imagine. Discovering what's expected of me is a part of my mission. So I reflect on this, make my prayers, and wait for a sign. Does Urgathoa feud with the other gods? Not Urgathoa, but Pharasma still tries to call her to order, and Sarenrae to heal her. Jaethal laughs at the absurdity. So Sarenrae is that's the god that Tristan mentioned that he worships. So Tristan, I imagine, would have some interesting things to say to Jaethal about trying to bring her back to the light. And then Pharasma is the one that's kind of like the, if you were to ever play a Grave Cleric, a Grave Domain Cleric in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, then Pharasma would be the kind of deity, or a similar equivalent kind of deity that a grave cleric might follow, because it's about departing from the world and things like that, and leading to the afterlife, I guess you could say. What does Urgathoa require of her followers? To enjoy, to taste exquisite dishes, to feel the lover's caress, and to drink the enemy's suffering. A wonderful religious obligation, isn't it? I don't deny that a lover's caress can be something very meaningful, even to good-aligned sort of people. You know, there's many reasons, you know, for feeling the compassionate or passionate or both kind of touch of someone. So the embrace of husband or wife or something like that, you know, certainly can mean a lot to people. Enough about this for now. As you wish. Conversation is truly a waste of time, and yet you're talking to me. Quite a bit, I might add. I mean, you have no shortage of time being undead, so it's like, what else do you have to do? What else are you going to be doing with your time? What made you follow me? Curiosity. The need for a reliable ally. You see, I must come to understand what my goddess seeks from me. Urgathoa gave me the powers of Inquisitor without declaring her will to me. I await her reply, any hint or trace or clue. And I suppose our meeting was no mere accident. Besides, Jaethal cringes. I imagine that several Kyonan assassins still pursue me. They never risked attacking me while I was under the patronage of the Aldori. They are unlikely to attack while I have reliable allies like you. So it's a more selfish motivation to try and keep the assassins off of her back. Apparently she has a high opinion of herself, but apparently the assassins give her enough concern to where she can't rely on her scythe and her goddess to get her out of that mess. So she seeks allies that will discourage assassins coming after her. As it looks like the cat over here is having herself a good time, kind of jaunting around or something. Anyway, enough of the cat up there. So yeah, she has allies because it's going to help thwart off the potential of assassins coming after her, because it would be more difficult to take care of a party of people than it would be to just take care of her. So, but why do these assassins follow you? I don't know. They can't have been sent by the Queen. I am branded outlaw, but my punishment was exile, and it is not custom for elves to contravene their own verdicts. My attackers shouted something about threat and blood. I suppose they are a splinter group of feeble-minded zealots, or someone on a quest for personal revenge. Well, maybe a member of your family, perhaps, that was not happy about you killing your own family, maybe? Just a guess and a wager. So I guess, essentially, she's an outlaw, and for elves, exile is usually considered punishment enough, maybe even a punishment worse than being executed in some cases, so I think that's why they exiled her. And now she's dealing with vigilantes from her society, which usually doesn't happen, but is possible, you know, like any society. And so it was kind of unexpected that she would have to deal with assassins like this, I imagine, and so that's why she seeks allies that she might normally not want to have anything to do with. So I could tell her to go ahead and kick rocks, and thematically it's probably what I should do, but I think we're going to just keep her around because we might learn more things about her and about evil gods to try and better our understanding of the world, and trying to understand more about how the evil gods interact with the world. And so maybe we might be able to go ahead and better combat evil by understanding more about it, you know. It's kind of like someone who is, you know, very belief heavy in a certain religion, but you read about other religions and their texts to see what might make their followers tick and what locations are significant, etc. So that way you can learn how to better deal and interact with them, basically. Yeah. So that's the thematic reason why I'm not going to tell her to go away and all that. And I think Valerie, we don't have anything to talk to her about right now. Yeah, because we already talked to her quite a bit, so... Valerie and Lindsay, we don't have anything to talk about. Amiri, on the other hand, we might be able to, because we dealt with Tuskgutter. Hey, Chief! Amiri gives you a broad grin. What's on your mind? So, have you proven yourself to be a mighty warrior after doing Tuskgutter? Dealing with him? I may have. The trial is finished, and if someone ever doubts me, I prove it. Amiri shakes her fist at the unseen offender. So I'm the chieftain of your new tribe? What do you expect of me? Tribe always must have plenty of food. Tribe's enemies must be tough, not some easy scum. Tribe's fighters must challenge the strongest enemies. Also, well, Amiri contemplates deeply. You must rule the tribe, make big decisions. She waves her hand vaguely about. Alright, so I guess there's nothing more to talk to her about, but we appreciate the conversation. And talking, yada yada. Alright, so we learned some things about Jaethal, and it's very interesting things that we did learn. I think the next person that we're going to talk to might be Tristan up there at this second level here. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and keep that for next time, because it is getting a bit further along in this episode, and I want to go ahead and try and keep a mental note of the time and how much time that we're taking per episode, and try and shorten things a bit more than I might usually do for my sessions. So trying to keep things roughly around an hour and a half, give or take, for the episodes from this point on, but I'm going to do my best. But I hope that you've all enjoyed this episode of my Let's Play of Pathfinder Kingmaker. And so I hope that you all do join me next time, and that we have some more interesting times in store. We're going to be dealing with the Stag Lord coming up soon. And we have some more companions to talk with. And Tristan, Regengar, and Octavia. And we'll learn more about them in our next episode. So I thank everyone for joining me and for watching my lengthy episodes. And I hope everyone all had fun all the same. And as always, I hope that everyone has a very wonderful day, and take care.